What is up, Romanisti and fans of Italian football? We are here on the eve of Sassuolo Roma. We're going to take a look at that game, what's going on with Adidas right now, maybe even a little bit of Napoli Inter as they're going to face off in those probable formations. What else? The snowfall around Europe has been crazy. I haven't seen snowfall like this that's been affecting football matches in quite some time. That's always been like a personal dream of mine to go play with the orange ball. And here we got just pulling it up right now. This looks pretty cool. I mean, this type of scene, I can remember being like back in 2005 and watching games in Germany. And like, that's the first time I ever knew like, oh, people actually went out and like played in the snow. But this one is crazy. In Helsinki, in Finland, some of the fans, Aberdeen fans, I'm supposing this is in the Europa League, were throwing snowballs at the Helsinki keep. I'm going to get copyright for this at all. But look at that.
Attention please, this is an important security announcement to all spectators. We want to remind you that it's
And it keeps coming.
to draw any kind of
But you can just see as well how much snow is pushed to the side of the stadium there. Nuts. Anyway, there was actually a guy who posted on Twitter that he wishes he could be driving the tractor, I think for one of the teams from Finland. I think it was this team actually, and they let him and they brought him out onto the tractor and he was able to ride it. It was like one of those social media things, but it was pretty funny. Anyway, as we take a look at this one from Bayern Union, that's going to be postponed. Flights canceled in and out of Germany. So a lot of nonsense going on with that. But in Rome, it should be okay. By the way, it looks like Adidas is set to re-release the 1992-1994 kit, the one which Totti made his debut in, the one that Barella is so known for, the pasta company on the front of this shirt. And then we've got this picture here I wanted to show you. My buddy Art Morelli posted, which is an AI rendering of, I asked him to make this, of Mario praying to St. Francis with the basilica in the background. AI is crazy. It's being used. It's like shocking. And speaking of shocking is my haircut from when I was 15. Anyway, here's some of the Adidas apparel. This is part of what like an urban fashion line that they're putting out. You can check out the t-shirt on the bottom left. I think that's my favorite of this collection here. And you can see that it was rumored they weren't going to be going with the trefoil, as you can see on the bottom right and on the track jack and everything else here. But to me, it's a bit Run DMC-ish. I know a lot of fans were super into it, as you could see in the comments here on the right. I think they could have went a little bit more in depth, maybe, but that is like the point of these 90s track jackets and suits, is to be kind of simplistic, kind of bold at the same time. Will I get one? I mean, maybe. Maybe. I like the trainings apparel a bit more. I like the stuff that the players are actually wearing. But like this hoodie could be cool if it wasn't like $100. The t-shirts, it's fun. I think it's good for especially collectors. Some people are into that. And as you can tell by those comments, a lot of the fans are really into it too. But there is something bigger to go about today, and that is the probable formations going into Sassuolo Roma. And I want to pull these up, and as I do, I'm going to read you some stats, which are a little bit frightening going into this one. Roma have only won one of their last 10 Serie A away games, failing to score in the last two. They've drawn their last three in Sassuolo, and Sassuolo are unbeaten in 6 of their last 7 meetings with Roma. This is not good. I don't need to tell you that. Sassuolo, though, they have failed to win 8 of their last 10 home matches, which is interesting. Why would you have such poor home form? But I did see that the first game of the season, which was Atalanta visiting Sassuolo, there was like barely any fans there. So I'm wondering if there's something a little bit more going on as to why their home form is so poor. But Belotti is the man that you want to have against Sassuolo. Do I think he's going to start? No. But we're looking at 9 goals in 14 appearances against Sassuolo, against the Nero Verdi, and that is quite the number there. Players to watch. Me, Thorstvedt. I think he's a really good attacking midfielder. He makes surges into the box. Norwegian, 24 years old. He's going to even beat out Bayrami, most likely. And I thought that Bayrami was one of these up-and-coming center attacking mids, trequartiste in Italian football. But I'm telling you, this Thorstvedt is a strong player. Dionisi knows how to play football. He's going to go out there with this 4-2-3 formation. Pinamonti will be up front. Domenico Berardi, of course, is omnipresent, the leader of this side, the captain. He scored last week. He scored the penalty, and then he scored a really nice finish with his right foot, his opposite foot, to give Sassuolo the win. I think that was against Empoli. They won 4-3 in that one, and that took some pressure off of Dionisi because Sassuolo have been struggling this season. It's not the team you might have expected from seasons past, and I'm just going to pull up the standings real quick, and we can see that things have not been going too well for them. Share this here. We look down in 14th spot, 15 points, whereas Roma have 21. So we could look at these numbers and say 14th is a big difference from number 5 in the leaderboard. But in reality, it's just 2 more wins that Roma have over them. So is the difference really as staggering as the leaderboard might suggest? I don't think so. I think this is going to be a tight match. I think Roma are going to really have to show up, especially against that nightmare against Servette, which it looked like some of these players were amateurs. I mean, some of the misses, some of the play was mind-boggling. But once again, back at these predicted formations, this comes from Gazzetta dello Sport. Rui, Mancini, Llorente, and Dica. Llorente has been a phenomenal signing. I'm really satisfied with him. Cheap, comes over, does his job, keeps his head down. He's a leader of the back three. Karsdorp, Cristante, Paredes, Bove, and Spinazzola. I would like to see Zalewski get a run in here just because I think Spina needs a little bit more of a break. But then again, like, is Zalewski ready to take that? I don't know. Mourinho this yesterday went and said, like, I don't even want to hear it from the bench, that I would rather let these guys die out there in the starting 11 rather than play some of these guys on the bench. And sometimes I agree because, like, you get a shot in football and you got to take it by the horns. You cannot go out there and give in like a 75, 85% performance. No, it's got to be 110%, especially if you're trying to break into the starting 11, man. Like, that's crazy. But Roma's bench, start with the captain, Pellegrini. I actually think that he could probably replace Bove here, depending on his fitness level. Christensen, El Shaarawy, Awad, who didn't have a good game. Sanchez makes it. Azmoun, who should get some time, but like I said, with Belotti's goal-scoring record, we'll see how that plays out. Zalewski, Pasili, Pagano, I definitely want to see get more minutes here. Svilar, Boer, and Salik. Salik, maybe he'll step in, but then there's Christensen, and Salik did start in the Europa League match. But for Sassuolo, we've got Consigli, a decent keeper, Toljan, Erlic, the Croatian, Ferrari, for to make up the center back pairing there with Vina, Roma's Loni on the left. Boloca, there's a lot being made about Boloca right now, center midfielder. He was in Serie D in the 2019-2020 season. He's worked his way up. He was at Frosinone. He got signed for a pretty big sum from them last season to Sassuolo for 10 million euros, which is a sizable amount of money for them to spend. And he's looking like a really bright spot of Italian football. He's attracting interest from Atalanta, supposedly Roma. I don't know how true that is. But 24 years old. Yeah, keep an eye on Daniel Boloca. He's Romanian, but he's Italian and Romanian. He played with Romania's setup internationally on a youth level, but it looks like he's going to wait to get that Italian call up. He's been part of Roberto Mancini's training plans. It's yet to be seen if he's going to be there with Spalletti as well, introduced to the fold. Back to the starting formations, though. Thorstvedt, as we said, Berardi, and Castillejo, and that will make up your 4-2-3-1 with Pinamonti up front with Defrel, who will probably be deployed a bit more withdrawn, almost as like a number 10. And this just jumped to, I didn't ask it to do that, but it just jumped to Napoli-Inter too, which I wanted to take a look at because I think this is going to be the highlight. You got Mazzari's 4-3-3 against Inzaghi's 3-5-2. Meretti, Lorenzo, Ramani, Nathan, Juan Jesus for the back four there. Labotka, Zielinski, and Anguissa. Anguissa had a good game against Real Madrid. Politano, Osimhen, and Kvara. I think Napoli is going to... That's my daughter. I think Napoli is going to be really on the rise right now with Mazzari. And Inter are just I think they're going to win, but I don't want to take away the fact that I think this Napoli has gotten much stronger under Mazzarri, who's going to play the stars. He's going to play simpler football. He's not going to come in here with some wild, unorthodox French tactics that Rudi Garcia was trying to employ. So, on a final note here, I just want to say that this was crazy here. Look at these lineups that Fonseca had to do. And I feel bad because at times in the past, I really thought Fonseca was a bad coach. And I look at what he had to work with. Look at this 3-4-3. Fazio Kambula, Juan Jesus, Pau Lopez, VR, Cristante, Perez, Carlos Perez, Borja Mayoral, Pedro. This is an awful setup. This is like a 10th to 12th place team here. This one's a little bit better. Pellegrini and Borja Mayoral. And then you've got Cristante at center back, Spinazzola at what is this? So I just want to apologize to Paulo Fonseca for ever doubting him when he had these players at his disposal. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think, how this is going to end up, your predictions. I'm going to go 1-2 for Roma. I think they pull it out. I think Dybala and Lukaku show up. I think Bove has a good performance. Hopefully we see the sick dog out there do his thing. I think the defense will stay concentrated. I'm not too afraid. I do think that Sassuolo, as you see with their form and Roma's form against them, have to be respected. But I think the Giallorossi have enough in their arsenal to get past. Speak about Arsenal. I read that they might be looking at Mbappe. We'll talk soon. Ciao.